Well, I want to start off by thanking our crowd and our fans. Our last two home games have been embarrassing. We know that. I mean, we've talked about that we wanted to play better at home for our fans, and man, I'm really proud the way they did it. I can't thank them enough for showing up today. I thought it was a great atmosphere, especially with a lot of our students, at home for Thanksgiving. And then, man, I can't thank our seniors enough. We have such great leadership on this team. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I don't know if I've ridden more of the highs and lows of a season than this season, and for them to be able to do what they did. This is a lot of credit to the coaching staff and the quarterback and the offensive line, but this is the first time in the history of Texas Tech that you've had a 1,000-yard receiver and a 1,500-yard rusher. Josh Kelly went for 1,000 yards. Went over today, and then Taj Brooks. That's why we wanted to make sure that last part, ask him if he wanted to try to get over 1,500, and he did. Man, I can't thank those guys enough. The 8 wins are really big for us. The one thing that we didn't reach our goal where we want to be. We want to be playing in Dallas next week. That didn't happen, but to be able to do something like this where you get to 8 regular season wins, that hadn't been done since the late, great Mike Leach. And so we take a lot of pride in that. We talked about that a lot this week. Whenever you start talking about leaving your legacy as a senior, the things that you've done, that was important to them. And then, it's not about this game, but I do want to make a statement. I heard Chris Kleiman the other day, and I want to make a statement for this conference. I don't know if he read it. I hadn't looked at my phone yet, but Kirk Herbstreit's a really good friend of mine. Had the opportunity to play in the Herbstreit Classic whenever I was in high school against Cincinnati LaSalle, one of his Ohio teams. We beat the hell out of them, by the way. But I sent him a text, and man, I think the narrative of college football right now is really screwed up, and I'm gonna kind of talk about that. It comes down to a patch, I guess, that's on your jersey, because, now stick with me, if Texas wins the SEC, that means a Big 12 team from last year won the SEC. If Oregon wins the Big 10, that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 10. And if Arizona State, now whoever's playing, but Arizona State's got a chance to play in the Big 12 championship, so that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 12. And then if SMU wins the ACC, that means an American team won the ACC. So I think it's absolutely embarrassing what this football committee and, we got to back up what we need to do on the field so they get pissed off at me. But it's absolutely embarrassing what they're doing to this conference. And if they look at it that way and they sit there and say, who's playing the best football, who's the most competitive conference, who week in and week out, what you see on tape and the games that you got to play, I think the Big 12 should be in. The Big 12 champion should be in the Final Four, right? And then when teams are talking about multiple teams, depending on who plays in that game, they should have multiple teams. I think it's absolutely ridiculous what is happening at that level, at that committee, and just go back and think about that. I guess whenever you're a year away and you just change your patch on your jersey, that it actually means something, that you're in a different conference and that conference is all powerful. I mean, we all saw last night what the ACC did, to the team that's going into the championship of the SEC. I mean, Georgia Tech played a great game, got to watch every second of it, man, and I was rooting for them, especially because, the quarterback's, his dad's a great friend of mine, and he's such a special kid. But I just think we need to relook at this and quit looking at what patch and what logo it says on your jersey of what conference you're from, and look at the tape. I know some of the guys on there. I'm shocked that some of the old football coaches that know what they're looking at are not having more of an influence whenever it comes to that committee. So I hope they do. And, man, that's my deal for the Big 12, because I'm proud to be a part of this conference. I think it's great football, and, man, excited to see what happens. Man, just proud of these guys. What a great day for Texas Tech and for these seniors. With that, questions.
Start with Collier in the middle. Coach, you guys have had a lull in the second quarter for a while now. Was that the most complete second quarter you guys have played in conference?
Yeah, without a doubt. The lull kind of came in the first quarter because we couldn't get in the end zone, even though I was a little surprised that ball didn't get overturned. I thought Mason got a foot in for a touchdown, and we had to kick a couple of field goals. I thought that, the tempo that we played with today, really we've played the last 2 weeks. It's the second week in a row we've scored over 50 points. I thought Barron was really locked in. I thought, we didn't give up a sack. He got hit a couple times today, but we didn't give up a sack today, and we played really well in that second quarter.
On the defensive side of the ball as well, 2 forced turnovers and a couple of sacks.
Yeah, I thought I was really proud of the defense and the players because, man, we're banged up. We lost Duda in the Baylor game, and then we lost Quincy Ledette last week. We lost D.B. Carroll last week. So now you're going, to some young D tackles. And, I thought James Hanson, a senior, I thought he played really well. I thought Jaden Cofield showed up, and was running the football, had a couple of big plays, one on a screen, and one he was able to not give up the two-point conversion, or I think it was a two-point conversion when they threw it to number 74. And then we got pressure on the quarterback. Those two things, when you can get pressure on the quarterback and you can cause turnovers, that leads to second quarters and games like this. So I was excited for that.
All right, Coach. Now, of course, Taj didn't make the finalists for the Doak Walker list, but again, he had another phenomenal game, matched his career high in rushing yards, or surpassed it, and added more to his touchdown totals. I just want to know your opinion about him missing out on that, and then just following that up with another huge game.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from the guys that were there, but it's embarrassing that Taj wasn't there. Whenever you look at what he's done, not just his career-wise, what he did this year, number one, I think all of those guys played in 12 games. Taj played in, 11. I could be wrong, but I think one of them didn't have 100 yards in a game. Taj went over 100 yards in every game that he played in. It's frustrating. And then the other thing that I look at is whenever you walk away, and I imagine one of the three will do this, but Taj is walking away as the all-time leading rusher for his school, and there were 2 Doak Walker winners at his school. 2 of the best college running backs when you're talking about Bam and you're talking about Hanspard. And for Taj not to be there, man, it's really frustrating. I hate it, for him. But he's gonna have a great NFL career, and man, I'm really happy that what he did for us this year, and I was happy that he was able to get that standing ovation today in Jones AT&T.
Coach, strong start or strong finish to the season. I'm curious though how you feel like your coordinators did on the year, both offense and defense. Yeah,
it's something that really the last few weeks, we've been trying to reflect on how we get better. I think that offensively the last 2 weeks we played really well. We played with a little bit more tempo, and then defensively played well today. But whenever you look at the stats overall defensively, we're going to be a lot of hundreds, and you can't win. It's kind of a, I don't know, Debbie will make fun of me of using the wrong word or something because she made fun of me last week. I didn't mean to say goodest. I was saying as good a person, and she was making fun of my grammar. But, it's almost crazy that you can win 8 games and have some of the stats that we have. So it says a lot about these guys that just walked in, Josh Kelly and CJ, and just the heart to this team and how hard they play for each other.
After the Baylor loss, I asked you about the lack of physicality, but then today,
it's
complete flip. What was the reason for the team to really out physical West Virginia throughout the game?
Yeah, and that's saying a lot because I think, they've got some guys. I think their left tackle is projected a number 1 draft pick and, are really high. The 2 running backs are really, really special. They were coming in. I don't know what we gave up total. We gave up some really late, but I don't know what we gave up total rushing. But they were rushing for 197 yards a game, one of the best in the country. And I thought we did a good job. I know in the first half, we stopped the run, and I just think we've got to continue to grow with that, and that's going to be a big part of this offseason. We got to put on more mass. We've got to be a bigger football team. If you can get, I know it sounds crazy to be saying 190 pounds is a big, but like Mo Horn, he had I thought he had a really good year. He had a great game today, but that's one thing that's going to be one of his goals. I mean, we just got to get bigger, stronger, and continually be more physical.
Coach, coming into the year, you mentioned that the offensive skill was different. You have a 1,000-yard receiver for the first time since 2018. You have Caleb Douglas, who has a really good season as well. I guess looking back at that, how do you feel that you were able to do, evaluating and going through the portal to find those guys? Yeah, I thought, that's always something that we're trying to continue to get better. James Blanchard, our GM, and his staff and the coaches, I thought that they did a good job. I mean, they identified Josh Kelly early. Once he went into the portal, we had some connections there, but I mean, it was a big deal to get Josh. We knew what he could do, and it was important today to get him 1,000 yards. Josh and I, as soon as he came off the field, whenever he got it, I gave him a big hug and told him how much I appreciate him because it was a big deal. But Caleb Douglas, we had a relationship with him before whenever he was coming out of high school, so that helped us with him. And it's a really something that we've got to continue to get better at, to evaluate these guys, and it's just the nature of the world we live in right now in college football. And I think that's why you're seeing so many teams that can beat each other every single week, is the mixture of the portal and guys being developed, and we got to keep getting better at that.
Go ahead, Jared and Sean, Bill.
Coach, I know it was a big deal last season the way y'all handled Jacob's red shirt and getting that extra year. Then he goes through senior day to day. Just given the kind of year he's had, I guess, what does that say about him doing that, and given kind of the decision he might have to make after the season?
Yeah, we do this every year with our guys that have eligibility left, that have the ability to the opportunity to get drafted. I met with him and his wife on Thursday. We do a presentation with what the scouts are saying, what the NFL is saying, what we have to offer. And so he has a decision to make, to where if he comes out or if he comes back. The thing that we always try to do, and we had some guys like that, it's going to be crazy this next semester, because there's going to be guys, you got to get to 105, and so there's going to be some guys that are going to have to leave Texas Tech. And so not all of them, but some of them that I was like, hey, if there's any chance that you're not going to be back, I don't want you to miss the opportunity to walk out there with your parents. We believe in memories and moments and things that we're trying to create together, and I don't want them to miss that opportunity. So you had some guys like that have a chance to come back, kind of like Taj. Taj, he got to walk twice because he walked last year and he walked this year, and thank God he came back. And so we're gonna present everything we can. I want Jacob Rodriguez back. The one thing that I always tell my guys is, if you're supposed to come out, I'm going to tell you to come out. I don't want you to come back. If you're supposed to come back to where you can push your draft stock up, then I think it's really important to come back. So we'll see. That's up to him. And it was funny. His wife, who is an absolute rock star, and she's a helicopter pilot in the military, she asked a lot more questions than he did. So we all know who's tougher whenever it comes to that. I might start recruiting her and see if she's got any eligibility.
Coach, with the youth of the defense showing up today, Dingle, Horn, Jordan, Tillman, what's the future for Red Raider defense?
One of the things is we got to make a huge improvement this spring. The thing whenever you're playing in all these one-score games, there's always reasons, and that's one of them. You've got to be able to play better defense and get off the field, and then when you do hit lulls on offense, you're able to get the ball back, get it punted, and so we got to continue to grow.
I do think, these 4 guys that just walked in the room, although Barron's sorry tell, luckily we got him back, but those other 3 that came in, we're really lucky to have those guys. They've been great leaders, and so, like, our secondary is just going to continue to grow because they had a leader like C.J. Baskerville. You saw what Jacoby Williams can do, and you saw Cam Dickey earlier. He had a little hamstring, so he didn't play today. But that's because of Taj Brooks, the leader that he is, and we'll just continue to see those young guys grow. But we got to play better defense. Part of the reason we're not playing next weekend is because, we're not playing well enough on both sides of the ball.
Phil, then we'll finish with Don.
You look back at the season, I know you got one more game to go, but your big wins this year, you probably would agree, Arizona State and Iowa State, and the one you said, dang it, I wish we could have gotten it, was the TCU loss.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a darn good year.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. You're right. Whenever you sit there and look, Arizona State's playing as well as anybody, and Kenny's done a great job with them. That's a great running back that's getting a lot of pub. We held him to 60 yards rushing, and we really played a great game that week. And then we went to Iowa State, who was at the time ranked number 11 in some, crazy weather, and found a way to win a game at the end, and so I think those are big, and that's the thing that keeps you up at night, and it will keep me up, and it's part of what I have to do and what we have to do as a coaching staff and a strength staff and a training staff and a nutrition staff. Everybody, we've got to get better, because if it is Arizona State and Iowa State that are playing next weekend in the Big 12 Championship, which I think they've got the tiebreakers, we beat both of them, and it's frustrating that we're not. And so we've got to really push ourselves. When you have this 8th win to where we can look back and say that we did some good things, that's going to help us in the off season. That's going to push us in the off season. And then we have some good guys coming back. We've got some holes to fill, and I feel like we're going to sign a really good recruiting class on Wednesday, and so I'm excited about the future.
All right, we'll finish with Don.
Joey, going back to the guys who went through senior day, a couple of those receivers in particular, I think, have eligibility left, to like Jordan Brown and Brady Boyd, guys who have played some. What's your expectation for them?
Yeah, it's decisions, kind of the same, but that was one thing with them that I wanted them to understand. Like if this was it, or if it was, that they will, because both of them have graduated. They both have their degrees. And so it's one of the deals of, like, I just don't want – it's important to me. It's really important to me for guys not to miss moments in their life, because they're going to be a 53-year-old guy like me. And, you always tell them, and I learned this from Henry Teeter, who learned this from his dad, you don't regret the things you do. You regret the things that you didn't do whenever you look back on your life. It's usually not the things – like, you might wish, man – I might not have should have done that because it wasn't very smart to do at the time, but that's not usually the regrets. It's the one that you don't do. The regrets come from the things that you don't do, and I don't want these guys to have any regrets if they look up and they're through with football, or if they decide to do something else. I want to make sure that they had the opportunity, because they earned it. They've put a lot of sweat and blood, sweat, and tears into this program, so I wanted to make sure they had that opportunity.
Also, Barron today became the first Tech quarterback to start every game since 2016, and the first one not to miss a start because of injury since 2017. To what extent did y'all kind of accomplish what you wanted with him in terms of kind of being ready to answer the bell each week this season?
I'll tell you, I could think of a couple of guys off the top of my head, and they're not Red Raiders, so I'm not going to bring them up, but he's one of the toughest players I have ever been around in my life. If y'all could see – and he would wear it every week, what he had to go through last year to get ready to play every week and give us an opportunity to win and get us into a bowl game, and then play great in that bowl game. And then this year, I think, and Taj probably knows better because he's been around him longer and knows, but I don't know if I've seen more of a growth in a player from the standpoint of a leadership, changing his body. He's in here so I can make fun of him, but, he had a dad bod last year. I was surprised he ever took his shirt off, and if he did take his shirt off, any girls would date him, and
he actually, I'm telling y'all, like he changed his body. It has a lot to do with our medical staff and our strength staff. Our medical staff, Mike Ramirez, went out of his way to find the experts to go through the things that he needed to do. You know, y'all know we went to Jacksonville last year with all the PT stuff. And then our strength staff, especially Lance Barlow, our head strength coach, I mean, he and Barron spent a lot of time together building his upper body strength and putting him in a good position to you know, be able to go out every week. And, man, I'm proud of him. I mean, he did some great things. I don't, you know, I know what he did today, but I don't have the numbers what he did on the year. But the other thing that I thought that he really did and what we asked, you look at us the first 2 years, we're absolutely, I mean, it is a bad stat of us being in the negative whenever it comes to turnovers. And one of the things that we really focused on in the spring and in camp was taking care of the football. And as many times as we throw the football in this offense, I thought that he did an absolutely incredible job. And we'll end up on the plus side. It might only be like 1 or 2, but we're going to end up on the plus side. And if you can end up on the plus side of turnovers throughout the year, then that's a big gauge of you winning games.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all so much.
Josh, for you to eclipse 1,000 yards on the season, just what does that mean for your final year in college football and the impact that you're able to make here?
Yeah, I mean, it means the most to me. You know, throughout my college career, you know, as I look back on my stats, I mean, it's been, you know, nothing but growth for me each and every year. So for me to finally eclipse that 1,000 yard my last year, man, I mean, it means a lot to me, and I'm pretty sure it means a lot to my family as well. And you know, just coming here and being able to, you know, help, you know, bring this team to, you know, 8 wins. You know, wishing that we had more. You know, we had a lot of opportunities to, you know, win more, but you know, just doing something that hasn't been done in a very long time and winning 8 games. You know, just me being, you know, helping to be a part of that. You know, it means a lot. So.
CJ, Tuesday we talked a lot about you wanted to leave a legacy and just trying to build this group for the future. I guess what does today mean with getting that interception, and you know, just what kind of legacy do you think you kind of left here?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about what kind of like legacy I've kind of left here, but I just kind of want to be remembered as one of the guys that was just always doing the right thing and giving his all. And there wasn't any time I felt the defense where like that wasn't being reciprocated. The defense I felt this year, no matter what game it was always giving 100%. And especially from the young DBs, I really think their future is bright. They're going to stay together and they're going to build off of this year. And I really think they're going to be a really good group. So I kind of think my legacy kind of lives within them, so to say.
For both of you, what do you have to say about Taj Brooks and the leadership that he has provided this team?
I mean, Taj is, I mean, he's the epitome of what a Texas Tech Red Raider is. I mean, if you want to look at a guy who does everything right and the results speak for itself, that's the guy. I mean, there's nobody who's in the training room more than him. There's nobody who's more in their film more than he is. And for him to take as many blows as he does every play, I mean, he gets hit minimum 3 to 4 times a play, and for him to put up the numbers that he does, it's not by accident. I mean, he's the best running back to come through Texas Tech, and it's not by an accident. He does all the right things, and he's in the training room all the time, and he does. I can't say any more about him. I mean, he's somebody I look up to personally. Like at times where I don't want to be in the training room, or I don't want to do this and that, like. I look at Taj, like, and kind of the results speak for itself, so I got to give myself in the training room as well. But, yeah, that's kind of what he means to me in this team.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the first day on campus, the first person that I seen actually was Taj, and we was in the weight room. I didn't know it was him at the time, but, like, it was the first person that I seen. So, the first workout, you could tell who the leader of the team was, off rip, and everybody gravitated toward Taj. Taj is a real humble dude. So there's times where I kind of push Taj, just yell at the group if things ain't going right. But Taj just he just does what he has to do, make sure that he's doing his part, and he's not lacking in anything within his team. So.
Any others?
Josh, I know they talked to CJ and Jalen the other day, guys that transferred in, kind of about what Texas Tech meant to them. But for you, this was your only year here, but just like you said, a lot of growth for you. Just what does it mean for you to spend that last year of your college career here?
When I entered the portal again, I was real nervous on, making sure that I was just going somewhere, for the right fit, just for my last year, because I only had one left. And, taking it back just to my visit, everything just felt right, with the coaches and, players that I had met, everything just meshed well. So, for me to come here and just finish it in Lubbock, at AT&T Stadium, man, I couldn't be more grateful for, the opportunity that these coaches have given me, like CJ and, all the other players, man, just bringing me in and, treating me, as if I was there, my whole college career. So, shout out to these boys and, shout out to the coaches and the fans, just, loving me and making me feel, as Lubbock is home. So.
CJ, what do you think the key was to the overall success y'all had defensively today, since you held them well below their rushing average, and obviously 15 points? I don't know if that's one of their season lows anyway.
Yeah, I think it was definitely physicality. Their offensive line was really experienced, and we knew that going in. But one thing we thought they didn't do well this year that they typically do before is they know how to finish games, and they're tough throughout their games. But this year we kind of saw they would kind of not soften up, but they wouldn't be as aggressive as they are in the first quarter. So we just kept on attacking them, and kind of that second quarter, whenever just things weren't going their way. It's really hard for any offense, for the things that we were doing to them. It's really hard for you to kind of step back up and step up to the plate. So it was really just flying around the ball and being physical. And whenever you do that, plays are going to come to you. The quarterback's going to make some mistakes because he's a running quarterback. He had the most rushing yards coming into the game at anybody on the team. So being able to keep him in the pocket and make him make those decisions, his touchdown to interception ratio wasn't good. So we knew we can get our hands on some balls, and we're able to do that.
How did you see the play unfold in front of you? You're on your interception.
We were in a Tampa too, and he's kind of a shorter guy, so he likes to eye down his receivers, and J-Rod did a great job of making that ball go over top to give me some time to be able to work from 1 to 2 and try to go make a play. And I was just reading his eyes, and if it wasn't for J-Rod, I wouldn't have got that pick because he made that ball go high and put some air under it. So I just saw the ball up there and went to attack it, turned into a receiver for a second, and that's pretty much it.
Also, for both of you guys, with the portal opening up in about 9 days now, both of y'all have gone through that experience. When guys are hitting the portal for the first time, what should they know? And I'm not necessarily looking for what was it that made you choose Tech, but what's that flurry of activity like when your phone starts blowing up? What's that process like to have to make that decision quickly? Maybe in some, obviously in some cases, to commit to a place you've never seen.
You got it first.
For people that's in the portal, I just say, make sure that the fit is right. It's good to have, these big schools, calling your phone, but if you're not in their plan, or, they're just kind of using you as a body out there, I don't think that's, a great idea. Go somewhere where, you'll be a key role, or at least a big help to the team, and just try to win you some games, wherever you're at. It's not always about, just trying to find the best team to go to, because you're not going to get as much playing time as you think you are than where you're already at. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I would say, really go where you're wanted, kind of to backing off what he said. there's in the portal a little bit. Sometimes like they're waiting on other guys, you know, to see where they go, and then they'll kind of get back to you, and also just speak to everyone. Like there wasn't a school that like I ignored because like I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know where I was gonna go before I entered the portal. I just kind of entered it and I spoke to everyone because you never know where you're gonna end up. I mean, if you would have, you know, told me I would have ended up at Texas Tech at that time, I wouldn't believed you. But as soon as I heard they were Texas Tech was interested, I talked to Coach McGuire. I mean, I was locked in from there, and you just kind of know. I just wouldn't say I wouldn't hold out for, you know, somebody specific, you know, because if they're holding out on you it's for a reason. So if they really want you, they'll go after you and get you. So that's what I felt from this staff and this school. So again, extremely blessed to be here and happy how it ended up for me.
Thank you, fellas.
Appreciate y'all.
Taj, obviously another great day for you, and obviously you eclipsed 1,500 yards, second season in a row. Just what do you believe your legacy is at Texas Tech, being everything that you've accomplished here?
I feel like my legacy here is probably, I want to say, just the best running back Texas Tech has ever had, in my opinion. The only thing I probably haven't done here is win the Dope Walker, and I feel like a lot of people could say I got misjudged on that award, but I feel like I did the things that another running backs in the country didn't do. I averaged 100 yards each game, and it's just kudos to the guys that's playing with me. You know, kudos to my teammates staying on me in the film room and doing the little things right. So,
Taj, I guess there's probably really no other way to ask this, but I guess what do you about your playing in the bowl game? I guess is that a decision you have to make, or do you kind of have an idea already of what you want to do?
That's a decision I'm gonna make with Coach McGuire. We're gonna talk about it and just see where things at, and just do what's best for Texas Tech football.
If y'all know, we just talked to the last two guys about the portal process, but being that both of y'all have been here throughout your entire career so far, I guess how important do you still feel like that is, kind of that culture of being at a place for multiple years? I mean, you see guys bouncing back and forth, different schools all the time, but just maintaining one place, I guess how important do y'all still feel that is in college football and really just college sports in general?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that you know, college football, I mean, it's changing, you know, going with the revenue sharing and cutting the rosters down and all that. So, you know, the portal is going to be tight. So, I mean, you got to find the right culture for, you know, what you fit best. And, you know, if you like to work hard and you like to get dirty and, you know, play the game the right way, you know, I feel like we do that here. So, yeah, I mean, the portal's a scary place in my opinion.
Baron, you guys had struggled in the second quarter for the last month or so. What went right today?
Yeah, giving this guy the ball. But no, I thought Coach Kitley, you know, had these guys dialed up from the kick. You know, I thought, you know, we just executed at a high level. You know, and gaining confidence. You know, those first couple drives, you know, we're still making points. Whether it was, you know, we want to put it in the end zone, but I mean, we're still doing something right, moving the ball. So we knew it was gonna click, and you know, we got rolling, and you know, from then on, and you know, it just kind of felt like, you know, we're just gonna score every time. You know, that's what we do. So really proud of the guys and the way they responded, you know, previous games.
Taj, you spent a little extra time out on the field afterwards. What was the feeling like when you ran into the tunnel that final time?
It was bittersweet, you know what I mean? I was excited, a lot of emotions going through and things like that, but it was something that I looked at. I did actually before I came in here. I went to the stadium one time just to record and just look around and just feel something, because that's it's kind of emotional, just a little bit, but I love this place. I wouldn't rather be nowhere else. I love my teammates, I love my coaches, and I just love our fan base here. That's one big reason why I feel like we're different. You've seen it today and the other games that we've played. So,
Baron, what is the success of this team based on what Taj has been able to build?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it in a lot of interviews before, but I mean, he's our security blanket. You know, he's the guy that when we need some juice going, you know, we just got to get 2-8 rolling. When we can get him rolling, you know, the guys respond well. So, you know, I mean, we're going to miss Taj. I think everyone that's a fan of Texas Tech is going to miss Taj. You know, me personally, I'm going to miss him a lot, but I'm excited for him. You know, he's going to do great things, and, you know, I'm excited to see him come back to Lubbock next year and see all the fans.
And Taj, how does it feel for you leaving and knowing that you got Barron leaving this place in good hands?
It's going to be – I can't wait, especially all the young guys on offense besides Barron and the running back room. I can't wait to see Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams just take over. And then I feel like just the team, I feel like we changed our culture here. We set a standard that other teams before didn't set, and I feel like Barron and these guys are going to lead all the way up, and I can't wait to see and come back and just see this team be successful and hopefully be in that job and just getting to the Big 12.
We'll go back to calling for a minute.
A couple more for Taj. What was the moment like whenever they called the timeout? You surpassed 1,500 yards, that whole.
It was crazy because at first Coach Perry was like, Jacoby's going in for this drive. And I was like, where am I at yards, like career yards? He was like, you got 33 yards to get to 1,500. So I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to just stay and just gun the drive. And shout out the two O-line, man. Those guys, they came in ready to play. They were eager. I think it was Holden Hendricks. He was very physical at the point of attack and things like that. But it was good. It was something that's going to stick with me forever, especially getting that 1,500 yards and doing that back-to-back seasons. That's gonna stick with me forever, and it's just a blessing. And then just shout out the whole team. So.
Last one. When you sent that tweet, did you envision all of this happening?
For sure. It's something I believed, and kudos to my hard work and just my parents. My parents stayed on me just to do something that has never been done here, and I feel like I fulfilled that role. I can go on all the milestones that I've completed, but it's about the team aspect, and we're 8-4, and hopefully we can get to win number 9, and that's something that has been done here in a long time. So I feel like just reaching that, and it's just really cool.
Anything else,
Don? What did you think when you saw your teammates come to greet you, and what was kind of the conversation like when with you and Joey?
I was all love, and Coach McGuire was like, man, I love you so much, man. And I told him I love him, and all my teammates, they were just patting me on the head, patting me on the back and things, just saying they love me, and congrats, bro. It's a big milestone, and especially for our O-line. Those guys up front, they played their butts off today, and I just wanted to repay them for that. And just throughout the season, we had ups and downs, but just to have a consistent game with our O-line, man, that's what they deserve, and I'm happy to fulfill that, you know what I mean? So.
And Barron, how would you you guys scored on the first 7 series, 2 field goals and 5 touchdowns in a row before he ever got stopped. How would you say that compared just offensively as a unit to what y'all have done this season?
Yeah, you know, I think we went fast. These last 2 games, we've really just focused on tempo because, I mean, it's hard to play fast, and a lot of guys can't play fast. But, you know, it's kudos to our strength staff and, you know, our nutrition to get us ready to play. But, I mean, these last 2 games, I mean, if we can move the ball fast and you can get the ball rolling, get him rolling, I mean, things are going to open up. And so Coach Kitley, you know, going in the week, we said we were going to go fast again, and we went fast. And, I mean, I just think, you know, when everyone does the right job and the details are right, we're going to be successful.
Zach has said that you like to go fast. Have you, in those conversations that y'all have had, at any point have you kind of pushed him to say, hey, Coach, I want to run tempo more?
No, I don't push him to do it. I feel like he does it at the right time, you know, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to getting the ball to your playmakers, and, you know, that's my job. So the quicker I can get them the ball, the better off we'll be.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.